Irreverent, entertaining, cool. You're listening to LA Talk Radio.
You're listening to the Chizme Talk Show with Jesse, Handsome Latino, Bubba, the Big Dog Morales, and Raquel, only on LA Talk Radio.
Well, good evening, and thanks for tuning in, and welcome again to your Chizme Talk Show.
Whoop, whoop.
Making us part of your Taco Tuesday. I'm your host, Handsome Latino, along with my sidekick host here, the Big Dog Morales.
What?
And tonight we have our guest, Marcela Ochoa, who is originally from San Antonio, Texas, but currently is here in LA. She has about 14 years of entertainment in the industry with marketing, production, and filmmaking. And she will share with us her passion as to why she loves making films and why she is currently producing. She's directing, writing, and acting. And she is also going to be talking about her short film, this really cool short film that she made that HBO Latino actually premiered. And I believe it's called My Name is Maria de Jesus, correct?
Correct.
All right, awesome. How are you?
Good. Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Awesome. Well,
Thank
you for
you.
Hey, gracias for being here and accepting our invitation here to the Chizme Show. What did you think when I said Chizme? I said you could be on the Chizme Show.
I was like, that's great. I love Chizme.
We love her already. We love her already. We love her already. So welcome everybody. We're excited that you joined us tonight, and I'm sure we're going to be blessed by Marcela and her testimony and what she's going to share about her passion and how she began her career in filmmaking, and a lot of chisme that she has for us. So we're so glad to have her. And at this moment, I want to introduce my compadre, my friend, the Big Dog Morales.
What? What's going on? All my chismeandors.
What up, dog?
All my chismosos and chismosas. What's going on? Hope y'all had a good weekend. I know mine was okay. It was all right. I worked all weekend, so who cares about that? Anyways, it was a good time for me to watch some sports and get all up in the second season of the preseason of NFL. Anyways, we got our Los Angeles Angels have gone 4-3 since last week. They took three out of 4 games from the White Sox here at home. They're now back in Texas, taking on the Rangers. This has been their first visit back to Texas since the death of pitcher Tyler Skaggs. So let's hopefully they keep it together, keep it as one, and keep playing as hard as they can in his memory.
Yep.
The Dodgers have gone a humble 3-3 since last week. Oh no. But they are back in a 6-game homestand with the Toronto Blue Jays and the New York Yankees coming up in town. There are still tickets available for that game. I know it's going to be a great game. It's going to probably be a preview of the World Series. So get out there this Friday, Saturday, and Sunday and check those games out. Angels and Yankees, classic battle. Thursday night played host to the Raiders' second preseason game with the Silver and Black taking on Arizona Cardinals. Once again, the Raiders started off strong, both offensively and defensively, ending the first half with a commanding 26-10 lead. The Cards would end up coming back and make it a little bit closer, but the Raiders would hold out to win by a margin of 33-26. But both teams gave about 250 yards in the air, with the Raiders quarterbacks looking great, with a combined QBR rating of 150.7.
Nice.
While Kyler Murray did not look like the Heisman winner he was last year, so Cardinals got to step it up.
My Raiders.
Saturday pitted America's team and one of your local favorites in a hard-fought defensive battle between the Dallas Cowboys and our Los Angeles Rams.
My team.
Mírala, the big star over here. Should we dismiss her now?
I don't know now. No, I don't know if
I can go.
I think you should now. I think you should. Dak Prescott and Blake Bortles put on a solid showing, but the defense stole the show with both teams allowing less than 100 yards rushing. The game came to a grinding 14-10 outcome, with the Cowboys giving the Rams a big L. The second loss for the Rams in the preseason, I don't know. Cowboys look all right. They look all right.
They look good.
On Saturday, our LA Chargers took on the New Orleans Saints at the StubHub Center. The Chargers came out swinging, finishing with a 17 to 3 lead going into the half. The Saints would rally and shut down the Chargers in the second half, leaving them scoreless and putting together three scoring drives to put them over in the fourth quarter. With only 1 minute left and 5 seconds, leaving the final score of New Orleans 19 and the Chargers 17. The first Monday night contest of the year had the Niners. Niners. Niners, not Cowboys. Had the Niners, a real America's team. Taking on the Denver Broncos. The 49ers put on a defensive clinic, racking up 6 sacks, 11 tackles for losses, and an interception. Both teams had a lackluster passing game, with Nick Mullins of the 49ers having the only success in the air with going 2 for 3, 27 yards and a touchdown. But the Niners' ground game stole the show, racking up 189 yards, and the Broncos to 113. The 49ers squeezed out a victory of 24-15, ending their second week of the preseason, ending everybody's second week of the preseason. With 2 weeks of the preseason left and 2 weeks in the books, we're hoping to see more starters on the field. There wasn't that many starters on for most teams, which is surprisingly, like the Patriots sat out some of theirs. Drew Brees didn't play. My boy Baker Mayfield didn't play. So hopefully in the next 2 weeks, we get to see something that looks sort of like what our regular season is going to look like, because some of these guys need to get out there and show what they got. Also, we got all LAUSD, all CIF Southern Section, and most every high school across the nation is going to be starting football this week. So let's keep all those young athletes healthy. Let's keep them motivated, keep your feet moving, and your head on a swivel. And prayers out to all you guys. Stay healthy, and let's keep it going. Good luck to everybody.
Nice. Thank you, my dear friend. That was a lot of information there, and thank you. So you're really a Dallas fan?
Yes, I am.
Hardcore, de veras?
How did that happen?
Yes.
How? Why?
How
Why?
did that
Texan.
happen?
We're from
Well, she's from
Texas.
San Antonio.
And that's no excuse.
Exactly.
You're
It's all
in
about
LA now.
America's team.
Oh, America's team.
See, look, I was all
pues.
excited for you to be here, and you were
Híjole.
being a great guest until you come on the show and say something like that.
Wow,
I
man.
don't know. We gotta pre-screen these guests a little better and find out what their teams are
I think
before
so,
they show up
man.
here.
Background check or something.
You
Now she
know.
threw me off. Now I don't know where I'm at. No, I'm just kidding.
Kenneth, you know what I'm saying, Kenneth came in here with a Raider hat the other day. What was that? And then Anya and Liana were in here with the Raiders. But at least Anya was a 49er fan. At least somebody came here correct.
Yep.
You know, some of these people come here Raider fans and Cowboy fans. Jesus.
Aye, Marcela knows we're joking with her. I told her on the phone that we would tease her a little bit, and she was okay with that.
Yeah.
And you're listening to the Chizme Show on LA Talk Radio, your Latino hot internet Chizme talk show that for the last, 8
Over 2
weeks,
months.
man, those ratings have just been going straight up. And thank you, the audience, for that, because without you, man, those ratings would not be where they're at. So, I mean, I think we're, numero uno?
Duh.
There? Yeah?
Number one.
Número uno
One.
Chisme Show on the internet. Órale, pues. That's
Number
cool,
one
man.
Latino internet show.
That is.
Right here.
Yes.
Right here.
And as you know, we have guests from all walks of life.
Amazing
That,
guests.
yes, amazing
Amazing guests.
That will inspire you.
Even though they're Cowboy fans, they're amazing guests.
Will motivate you, educate you, and bring a special message to your heart of hope, of laughter, and perhaps a tear of joy.
And love.
And love, of course. But we have a great show for you tonight, and we thank you for tuning in. And we'd like to welcome our special guest tonight, and that is Marcela Ochoa. Welcome to the Chizme Show, and thank you for accepting our invitation.
Thank you.
Say hi to our
Thank you.
Facebook friends.
Hi, hola. Thank you for having me.
¿Cómo estás? How you been?
Muy bien. Thank you. Good.
Yeah?
I'm glad to be here.
Thank you very much for showing up.
Thank you
Yes.
very much.
You're welcome.
I was teasing her on the phone that we were gonna tease her a little bit, and we did. And she's a good sport. Look at
It
her.
was a coin flip, and I was like, okay, I'll go.
Exactly.
She's like, stay home,
Stay home,
watch
eat
Netflix,
some tacos.
have some tacos.
All
go,
right.
go to the Chisme Show.
I'll do them.
And she only lives a couple blocks
I
from
guess.
here. And she was, I guess, watching us with some binoculars or something to see if it were, I don't know if you were for real, but here she is, of course. Hey, but the lines that we are having are open at area code 323-203-0815. That number again is 323-203-0815. If you want to call in and say hi to Big Dog Morales, yours truly, Handsome Latino,
Our wonderful
special
guest.
Marcelo
Yes,
Ochoa. So, without further ado, here we go, young lady.
All right.
All right.
Let's
so
do this.
share with us a little bit about your background, where you're from, and we know you're Dallas team. So yeah, go ahead.
Exactly. Exactly. From San Antonio. Soy Tejana. Yeah. On my dad's side, third generation Texan. And on my mom's side, my grandpa's from Mexico, my grandma's from Spain. And so my mom was first generation Texan, and we were second on my mom's. So all our families from Texas, we grew up there. And then my dad got a job in San Diego, so we moved to San Diego from Texas. And we would still go to Texas every summer. We'd spend with my grandparents, with my family, all the holidays. So we still felt like we still grew up in like both cities, which was amazing. And I always knew that I wanted to do something in entertainment. And so when we moved to San Diego, we would drive up to LA a lot. So I was like 7, I think, when I first went to Hollywood and like the Walk of Fame. And I was like, I want to be here somehow someday. And I don't know how, but someday I will. And I was like 7 years old and I had like my hands and like the little handprints. And I was like, I don't know, but I'll do it. And it was just a little bit easier because it was accessible because I was in San Diego. I think it would have been, for me, harder if I was in Texas to leave my family and make that trip to LA. But after, when I was 18, I was right here up in LA as soon as I graduated high school. And my sister was going to UCLA. And so I came up here and I was like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Clap it up for your sister.
Exactly,
There you
my
go.
sister.
Yes.
And so it was great because she was up here. So I got to take the train up on the weekends, like stay here in LA. I got to really know it. And I was like, this is what I want to do. I want to live up here. And I loved acting. That was my first love. And so when I moved up here, I got an agent right away. And all the parts were, you can be the chola, you can be the maid's daughter, you can be a sexy girl in the club, topless, like all of these things. I was like, okay, well, I don't want to be any of those things. And the agent was like, well, that's all there is. So do you want to act and do this or do you not? And I was like, well, I don't want to do any of those things. Like, where are the better roles? Can we be like a lawyer and a doctor and all that? They're like, no. Are you
lawyer?
Yeah, are you crazy?
Yeah,
Hello.
And I was like, well, wait.
Female?
They're like, what?
Latina?
Latinas go to school. They're educated. I don't think so.
You're kidding me.
So I was like, well, I want to I want to do more. Like I want to have like better roles and I want to have other chances. And it was just not happening. So I was like, okay, well, I'll go to school and I'll learn everything I can about the studio world and writing and producing and directing. Like I will make my own content. And even though it'll take me a long time and I want to learn everything, one day I will do it and I'll create those roles. And some of the roles I'll be in if I can, like my short I was in. But others, it's just about creating and writing these roles that don't exist. And so that's what drove me to do that because they didn't exist. And I was
You've been in this business now for over 14 years.
Yes.
14 years.
Yeah. So I've lived in LA for 14 years. So when I moved up here from San Diego, I got a job at Sony Pictures in international publicity.
Correct.
And it was amazing because I had to learn everything about a studio, everything about marketing publicity, which is so important and has helped me as a filmmaker, knowing about marketing, knowing how to market my film.
Well, funny you say that because you have 2 degrees, right? You
Yes.
have a bachelor's
In marketing.
and you
Yes.
have a
And I have associates in fashion design and
fashion design,
marketing.
right?
Yes.
holy moly.
Yeah.
what
Two things
the
we need
moly.
for this show: marketing and fashion.
That's right. Yep.
See,
Yep.
I can help you
And
with
a great,
both.
and a great smile. And a great personality.
Marketing and fashion.
There you
We need
go.
that here.
Híjole,
We got a new advisor here.
So I wasn't wrong when I contacted you, right? So you also mentioned in your we're having fun, folks. Okay, it's like I told her we would tease her, told
We're
her
not
we would have
fun.
fun and
It's
have her
great.
feel at home and relax because she
Yeah.
can actually see her house from the window here, so she can run out the door.
I just want to know if she could finish the sentence. Oh, the stars at night are big and bright.
Deep in the heart
and you
of
reach for those
Texas.
big
There we go.
stars,
Okay,
right?
okay. She's a real Texan then. She's a real
is.
Texan then. All right.
Shit.
Just
So
wanna
how
make
many
sure.
siblings
She was a
do
little
you
pause.
have?
She was like, wait a
I
minute.
know I was saying, I thought you were seeing a rap song. What's happening?
What is
Sisters, brothers, kids.
Yes, I have one older sister, my sister that went to UCLA, and she has 2 beautiful boys. Those are my nephews, and I love them. And they all live in San Diego with my parents, so it's nice. I go back to San Diego like once or twice a month, and it's just nice to just get a break or get out of LA where I'm
Right.
stressed or
Yeah,
I'm writing and I
right.
just need a break. I can go down there and write, and then I'll still go back to San Antonio like twice a year.
Oh, you'll come back?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice, nice.
Yeah.
Well, you also mentioned that you have in September, you have a speaking tour Talk to us about that and why.
Yes. So in September, I'm starting with my university speaking tour at Purdue. And I was approached because I wrote, produced, directed, and starred in a short film that I did about the life growing up in San Antonio of my parents' life in the 50s.
Correct.
And the Americanization process they went through for being Mexican American. And like my mom's Spanish name was changed to be English. So my mom's real name is Maria de Jesus, and it was changed to Mary Jessie in first grade. And they were punished for speaking Spanish. You know, they went through a lot. And so I wanted to do a short film that showed this is what it was like growing up in the 50s in Texas. This is what they went through and why generations then chose to raise their children speaking English first. And so there's this generations of kids in Texas and all over the U.S. that aren't fluent in Spanish because of what their parents went through in the 50s. And so I just wanted to show, like, you know, because people are like, oh, why aren't you fluent? And I was like, well, this is what happened to my parents. And then I had to learn Spanish later in school. And then, you know, watch novelas and all stuff. But it's like, it's still my second language. I wish I could go to Univision and pitch perfectly in Spanish, but it would be Spanglish. And like, then I'd get embarrassed. And I'm like, I need to practice more. I need to take night classes and do all these things. But I wanted to just show, you know, a snapshot of this is an experience that not a lot of people talk about, not a lot of people know. And I think it was an important subject. And so after I did it, it went on the festivals. It went on tour with it, and then HBO Latino bought it and premiered it in
Congratulations
July.
on that.
Thank
Yes,
you,
that's
thank you so
awesome.
much.
That is awesome.
It was amazing. Thank you.
Yeah.
And from the premiere, universities reached out to me and said, "Can you come screen the short film and talk to our Latino students on campus?" A lot of them feel this way, and they don't feel Latino enough because they're not fluent. And we have this divide amongst the ones that are completely fluent. And so we want to bridge the gap, and let's all talk about our issues and what happened to our families. And they said, your short will be that perfect bridge. Like, let's have these conversations.
I saw it. Thank you for the link, and I was really moved by it. We spoke on the phone when I told you about it. It got really emotional, especially that last scene with you and your daughter.
Yeah.
And what she had. Yeah. So that was really cool. The whole short film, the whole story is going to do well, and I really enjoyed it. I watched it 3 or 4 times, and
Thank
every time I
you.
watched
It
it,
speaks to a lot of people.
yes.
A lot of people.
Thank you.
A
grew up
lot
that
of
way.
people, yes. Thank you for making that.
Well, thank
and
you.
man, you played a mom.
Yeah.
Were you a real estate agent?
I played my mother in the film.
Were
So,
you
like,
an agent? No.
No, it was just like, I never really defined like what I'm doing, but it was just like a secretary position,
Oh, okay,
you know,
okay,
but
okay.
like, yeah. So, but I play, my mom. So it was so interesting to play my mom, and then she was on set and like, you know,
Nice.
having my mom.
I don't say that. I don't say that.
Right. But
Eso no es cierto.
yeah, I
No
was like,
estaba
oh, I
así.
was like, am I doing you justice?
Yeah.
But she was great. Like she was wonderful. My dad was on set, my sister and my nephew. I cast him in the opening scene. He plays my dad at a young age. So it was like a family affair. So it was really
That's
nice.
cool.
That's
Who's
awesome.
who's the gentleman? He played a nice dad. That was your abuelito,
El
right?
abuelo.
Oh, David Saucedo.
Oh, okay.
Yes,
That's him.
yes.
Oh,
Oh,
man, he
he's
played-
lovely.
yes,
Yeah, so
yeah.
he's wonderful. And he was in one of my friend's movies that my friend directed. And so then we got to know him. And so we're like, we're just going to cast him in everything we do. So, like,
Oh, he
so
played a
Book
great
him.
role. 'Cause he
Book
gave-
him. He's on.
He gave your daughter an old school
Jump
rope?
rope,
Yeah,
yes.
old school jump rope. Yes,
yes,
yeah,
yes.
that was
And
really
she's like,
cool.
I don't want this.
When I first
She's like, what is this old thing?
yeah, then she went up to
It's your rope. And he's like, for what?
Yeah.
She was kind of embarrassed because he drove up in that truck
With
and she was
the
like
Spanish
"Grandpa?"
music
yeah, Spanish
blaring.
music. But I didn't know what that. I thought that when I saw that, I thought it was like a whip at first because it looked like a whip, but it's actually a jump rope.
Right.
It's one of those like old school jump ropes.
Exactly.
Yeah. Any questions for Bubba? Any questions you have
No,
for
go
her?
on.
No,
You're
good.
What do you got from me?
He doesn't have a question because now you blew him away.
I
with
know.
the
I'm
being a
over here
Dallas
listening
fan.
to a story, and I'm just like amazed. And then you're like, put me on. Ask her.
No, just crying.
Okay. Like, when did you hear that HBO wanted to option your film?
Oh, so I was on a festival tour with my short for about a year. So it premiered in New York. It premiered in San Antonio, which was amazing. I got to go to 2 festivals down there. And my parents came, my nephews, my sister, and all my family in San Antonio showed up. It was so funny. At one of the San Antonio Film Festival, the theater was like 120 seats, and 100 were my family.
That's awesome.
wow,
That's
I
cool.
know. And the festival called me and they were like, we don't have enough seats for other filmmakers' families. So I was
That's their
like, yeah,
fault.
I'm related to like everyone in San Antonio. So, but it was just such an amazing experience. And so and then I went to a few festivals here in LA. And when I was done with it, I was like, well, what do I do with it now? Do I just post it to YouTube? And so my manager was like, well, let me send it to HBO Latino because I have a good relationship with them. They buy shorts and they're really, really picky, but let's just see. I was like, okay, they're never going to buy it. And then right away they were like, we love it. It's timely. It's an important message and we want to buy it. And so it was just like sort of a fast thing that happened. And then it premiered in July and it's just been amazing ever since.
How great is that, man? It's like your doors are opening.
Yes.
You're being blessed. I mean, your films. I mean, everything. That's really awesome. That's great.
Oh, it's been incredible. And like just to say in a meeting, like, oh, I have something on HBO is just incredible. People look at you differently, like, oh, well, then your stuff is good. Or and then HBO has just been incredibly supportive. And HBO Latino flew me to Miami a couple weeks ago to speak on a panel for HBO Latino and to speak as a filmmaker and talk about why we need more Latino stories. We need more Latino filmmakers, but we need more Latino stories. And it was just an incredible panel. It was wonderful.
Kenneth talked about that too.
Yeah, we do need a lot of Latino representation. Underrepresented big time.
Exactly.
He was talking about the same thing you're talking about, and he's just like, wow, He was very adamant about it.
It's true. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So talk to us about, I know you said you worked with some actors.
I'll
shoot some names out there,
at
okay?
Sony,
All right, here we go. Tom Hanks.
Yeah, so at Sony we did Da Vinci Code and Angels and Demons. So I went on tour we did a premiere in Rome and Geneva, and I got to know Tom well, and he's just like the loveliest person. I mean, just absolutely what you see on TV, like that's
It
him.
seems like it.
Yes, he is just.
Now he's going to play Mr. Rogers.
Yes, I was like, oh, he's perfect. I was like, he's just the
I wanna see that movie.
nicest human being. Like, yeah, he's the most perfect casting for that.
Nice.
He's wonderful.
Meryl
So,
Streep.
So Meryl Streep, we did Julie and Julia. I'm like, what did we do with her? Yes. So then we did the publicity with her for Julie and Julia, which I love that movie, and Julia Child.
I like that movie, but
yes.
she's just, that's just Julia Childs is just mean.
Well,
But I love her
all
role.
got like
but
we
like,
all
yeah.
got like Julia Child like cookbooks, so we're like, we're gonna cook everything. Like we thought we were her. So yeah, she's wonderful too.
Will Smith.
Will, yes, I went on tour. I did a movie. We did the publicity for Will. It was called Hancock. It was a superhero movie. I don't know if you guys saw it. So
I like that one.
that was fun. That was my first world tour that I went on, like the whole tour. So it was like London, Moscow, Berlin, New York, Paris. It was just incredible, like traveling with Will. Like,
How's
it was
Jason
just,
Bateman? I like that.
he's lovely. Yeah, it
I
was
like
him
him.
and
I
his
really
wife.
like
I
him.
think his kid, and then Charlize Theron. She was like incredible, and so like that was an amazing
She is
experience.
amazing.
Yeah, to be like you're traveling around the world, staying at great places, like throwing up events. I mean, we were working hard, but it was just one of those experiences that you'll have the rest of your life. It was amazing. And he's great.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Anybody else you work with besides those three, or is
Well, at Sony, so we did the publicity for every major film. So, like for instance, when we opened Spider-Man 3, we were in Tokyo with everybody: Tobey Maguire, James Franco, everybody. So it's like you do travel for the premieres of all of the films because we did internationally of what we were opening. You go on tour, and then when I left to do production, I worked with Channing Tatum because we did White House Down,
yes,
and that was just
A man crush on him so bad. I
Oh,
don't
he
care
was
who
just
knows.
so-
I don't care who knows it.
yeah.
Him and Ryan Reynolds.
He's exactly what you see is what you get. He's the funniest, like sweetest, nicest, most humble person. And so like that was such a fun experience. We lived in Montreal for 6 months.
Even more reason why I love him.
Really?
Yeah. So we were for the White House. We were in Montreal, and it was great because all you have are the people that you're working with because you don't have friends and family out there. So you're isolated for 6 months. So you just get really close with the people that you're working with, other producers, other actors, and it just becomes like a family. And so him and like his crew, we all like were really really close hanging out. It was a lot of fun.
And I'm sure for you it was a great experience because that helped you a lot with your own productions and the things that you saw and the things that you learned, correct?
Exactly. Yeah. So like when I made the decision to leave Sony, it was really difficult because it is a really good job.
How long were you with your Sony?
I was at Sony a little over 5 years.
5 years.
And it was great because you get to travel. You stay at these like amazing hotels. You see the world. And I had to get a passport when I worked there. I didn't even have a passport because I was like, we would just go down to Mexico, but you didn't need a passport. You go back and forth. Yeah, I was like, what? But I got to see the world like on Sony's dime, which was incredible. And then when I made the decision to leave to help run a production company, I was like, well, I need to make this jump because I want to write, produce, and direct, but I also need to know everything about production. Like now I know everything about the studio world. Now I need my production experience. And so I made that decision, and it just opened my eyes to a whole other world. And we were working on, big blockbuster films, that production company. And so it was amazing to learn, visual effects, like working on $150 million like budget and, all of these things that you don't get that experience. And it was better than any film school I could have ever paid for. And I was being paid to this job and also learning from big filmmakers, writing, producing, directing, what it's like in the editorial. The experience I had there was invaluable. That helped me then when I wanted to leave to really focus on my own stuff and start my own production company. All my experience there has helped me.
That's exactly
Because when
what
you
I was
bring it
gonna
down
say.
to a smaller scale, it makes it a little
Exactly,
easier.
exactly. Because everything I learned there, I'm just doing, but I'm doing it at a smaller scale. And hopefully one day, yes, I'll be doing it at a bigger scale.
Mm-hmm.
But everything you learn, or the crew members that you meet, or just like things that you learn on set, and how to direct with the actors, or things that you learn in post, or it all has helped me when I'm doing my projects.
Not only that, but like if and when you move up to a bigger
Yeah.
level, you already know how things should go. And
Exactly.
not just like, when
'Cause
someone's messing up.
Exactly,
And,
because so many people work on just indies or small stuff, and they never even have the experience to be on set on a big budget film.
Mm-hmm.
So I was so glad that I had that experience, and I've seen that, and I know what it's like. It was invaluable.
But you had this experience
amazing.
and all this at a higher level with these people, with these studios and
Yes.
these sets and the
Yes.
actors and everything else, which helped you to
Yeah.
produce now,
Yes.
direct,
Yes.
write, and then
Yes.
you're also an actress. So,
Yeah.
wow, you're the full package, man.
But it's like it took me but it took me years to be able to get to that point, to be able to do that. Like all my studio experience, all my production experience, I took everything and then was like, okay, well, now I'm ready to write, now I'm ready to produce, now I'm ready to direct. I wouldn't have been ready to direct 10 years ago. I just wouldn't have had the experience that I have now. And so all of that has helped me. And so when I made that decision because I really wanted to focus on Latino projects, and like I loved the company I was doing, and it was great working on big blockbuster films. It was wonderful. But this is what I wanted to
bring in your
focus on.
culture.
Yes. So it was
and when you
really
made that jump, where
important
did
to
you
me.
go?
So I just, on my own, just independent. So I had, with my producing partner, the company I was running, I had produced a horror film, and I co-wrote it, and I did a lot of second unit directing. And after we finished that film, I was like, you know what, I feel now that I can just start and do my own stuff. Like it was a good time, it was a good transition.
What movie was that?
It's called Discarnate. It's a little horror film that's on demand. Yeah. And but it gave me, it was also like a learning experience because it was just like indie, and it was like I had to do everything. And so that was a really, really good experience. And so then I just was like, you know what, I want to just start my own company. I have my own savings, sell my own projects and see what I do. I mean, it's a risk, but it's worth taking because this is what I want to do. And so then I did my short film, and then, which was great, and it was successful. And then now I have a feature that I co-wrote and I'm going to co-direct. Hopefully next year. It's a Latino horror. It's going to be interesting. And then my feature that I wrote on my short, my Texas feature, that is being sent around right now to investors because of all the buzz and everything that has come off HBO. I'm hoping that helps sells it.
That's
and
awesome.
That's what I really want to make.
Who's
is that
working with
film.
you in your company? Just you, or do you have other?
Yeah, it's just me.
Just you.
It's
That'd be
just me.
awesome. Going into
Wow.
more depth into
Yeah.
that story.
Yeah, exactly. Like I hope one day obviously I can grow and then, have more people. But right now it's just me.
So how long you been at your company for now?
It's going to be 3 years in October.
Ochoa Entertainment, huh?
Yeah, so it's 8A Entertainment
Right.
for my last name. So
Right.
A for Ocho and then A.
Right.
So like growing
Oh,
up,
pretty creative.
yeah,
I
it's
saw that.
Ochoa.
I'm
Yeah,
like,
8A.
8A, what is that?
Yeah.
Like,
And then when I tell
asked you-
people, they're like, that is so clever.
That is clever.
But we've always done that, like 8A, whenever we have something, it'll be like Marcella 8A, or, we've always done that. And there's like a Ochoa wine in Spain, and it's like 8A is on the bottle. It's a 8A wine.
Yeah, well, Bubba and I are available for casting in any of your films.
Well, there you go.
You need a
I'll give
handsome
you my
lead man.
resume here. I even brought my resume here. So here it is.
Willing
I'll
to
give it
cut
you
the
later.
sides, not this. You do not want to see this shaved off in the middle. I look like a 12-year-old kid. You're like,
So
where's
if
this
you-
giant baby on the scene? Who's this guy? But if you do need an unpaid intern who's gonna grunt work, my nephew's available. He wants to
Perfect.
be in the industry.
Well, there you
So
go.
let me know.
All right.
I will get him out
I'll
there.
hit you up.
He'll get all the coffee you want, whatever you need. He's out there.
So if
You
you're
got
looking for a lead
big
man,
strong
I
kid.
love that.
I
I
am
love that.
available, huh?
Yes.
Ryan, you got a job.
Yeah, I also read that when you were in college, you were really involved with Mecha
In high school.
in high school. I'm sorry.
Yes.
Talk to us about that.
Yeah, so it was funny because my mom worked at a high school in the same district as I was going to high school, and she was the leader of Mecha at her high school. And then I was involved in Mecha at my high school. And so it was really about helping, the Latino kids they want you to go to college. So it was really, really about helping us, give us access to, like as what they could do.
For those who don't know what Mecha is, can you
Yes.
explain that?
So it's Movimiento Estudiantil Chicano de Aslan. And it's just a club for Latino kids. And it's trying to inspire higher education. So we would meet, once a week. We would take a field trip. Like we went to San Diego State University. There's a big conference every year. And it's inspired, like, to go to college. What can they do to help us? And we have, like, an advisor there at school that would be like, okay, let's all study. What do you need help with? How, it's just really inspiring higher education for Latinos. And so my mom ran it at her high school. So we'd all get together like every year at the conference. We'd see my mom in her class. And it was really great because it was like all of us as a community helping one another and inspiring to do more, to be more.
Yeah.
And it was wonderful. I loved being a part of it.
That's awesome. That's
That
what
is
they really need
cool.
that.
That is
Yeah.
awesome.
And hopefully that's still going strong right now because some of these kids just have no guidance. They need that.
I know it is like San Diego State is its 50th anniversary this spring is celebrating Mecha. So
Go Aztecs.
it's still out there.
Still
It's still
strong.
good. Yeah.
It's still strong, yeah?
Yeah.
Nice. Well, if you just tuned in, you're listening to the Chizme Show on LA Talk Radio with our special guest, Marcela Ochoa, and she is just blessing us with her information of her career, how she began. And if you have a question for Marcela, we're going to go ahead and open up the phone lines. It's area code 323-203-0815. If you have any questions or anything that you'd like to share with us, Big Dog and myself, we'll be here till 9 o'clock. And the number again is 323-203-0815. And you're giving us a lot of good information. And so you grew up in San Antonio, Texas, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then so when you started your acting career, you came here. So
Yeah. So we
Tell
went
us
from
it.
San Antonio and then to San Diego.
mm-hmm.
And then I started, I would do, theater and all that at school.
High
and
school theater?
Yeah, did all that.
You wrote,
was-
you
what
wrote and
did you-
produced
okay,
and
what
you
was
acted
your-
in it,
Yes,
right?
yes.
What was the favorite thing you did in high school
Oh,
theater?
it was so funny because we had the most amazing drama teacher, and you could like write whatever play, and mine was always like some strong Latino story.
Oh, that's cool. He let
it
you
was-
do your own
yeah,
stuff?
you
Oh,
could
okay.
write it.
Yeah,
Yeah, we
yeah.
would write it,
Yeah,
I'd
right.
direct it, and I'd be in it, and then you perform it for the school.
Right.
And like, I would always have some strong like message, and I think there was one. What did I do? It was something about like. Because in high school, like all my friends were cholos. I was such a chola in high school.
What?
So it was something like,
You were a chola?
oh yeah,
That
yeah.
explains the hoops.
It was so
That
yeah.
I'm telling you, that
my
explains the hoops
first
that she had on
car was
earlier.
a '64 Chevy Impala.
Órale.
I love it, but so it was
Watch out.
something, some kind of chola
Watch
stuff. I don't
out,
know,
watch
but
out.
it was funny. I don't even remember it now, but I loved doing all of those things, and I loved
Can't even
having
tell
all
she
those
was a
stories.
homegirl.
She had the hoops. No,
I
she
did.
does have the hoops with
I
the name
did.
in
I
it
had
then.
to take off the
The
hoops.
makeup
They
and all
were
that, like the penalties
exactly.
and
I
all
used
that.
to
She
have
let
to
the eyebrows
pen-
grow out.
I
That's
did
why.
because they
That's
used
why
to
it's not
be, they used to be
showing.
penciled in.
What was the name of the high school that you went to?
I went to Rancho Bernardo High School
Oh, okay.
in San Diego. Yeah.
San Diego.
So it was fun. So I loved doing all that. And so right after high school, I was like, well, this is what I want to do. I love it. And I came up to LA and like did some auditions and got an agent right away. So it was kind of easy at the time, like getting an agent right away. But then it was like all the roles were just horrible.
So are you taking other roles
Well,
besides what you're doing?
So right now, I've just been so busy with my projects, like writing, producing, directing. I haven't focused on that.
Okay.
But I think I will once I get more of this start going. But it's like, some of the stuff that I do, I'll be in. Some of the stuff I won't. I want to have that option. But like right now, I want to focus on trying to get as much content as I can going.
Well, let me tell you, you have a lot of talent, and you have a
you.
gift for, I guess, writing and producing and directing, and you have that great attitude and that great smile,
Thank
which, that is
Braces.
awesome. It's going to take you to places, too. It is, really is. And we congratulate you.
Very
Braces?
painful.
Oh, the braces?
Painful.
Oh, no wonder she has a white smile.
Dr. Sanchez, thank you.
Dr. Sanchez.
The orthodontist.
No, those dentists, man, they advertise like crazy on buses, man. Serio. They want to get you in there for $20 for an exam and,
Right.
and whatever, but then when you're there, it's like,
Oh, yeah.
nope.
It's
You
like,
gotta
no.
dish out $1,000.
Exactly.
Invisalign.
That's not good. But tell us, share with us, Marcela, where you get your inspiration from. I know at home you're focused on writing. How do you come up with something that, like you said, it's not there yet, but it's going to become something once you write. How do you get those ideas?
Yeah, so
As a-
it was interesting when I wrote the horror film that we did. It was an interesting process because my producing partner had bought a house in the Hollywood Hills, this old 1930s mansion, and he was going to tear it down and build a new house. But we're like, let's film a little horror there before you do, like a little small new horror. It was like, great, this old weird mansion.
Right.
And so that was a weird process because it's like we had the location and I had to come up with a story to fit the location. So it was really weird because normally you come up with a story and then you find the location.
Right,
And that
right.
was, I thought it was a really fascinating process of working backwards of, he's like, okay, here's the location. Figure out, what are you going to do? Why are these people in this house? Why aren't they
That's
leaving?
cool.
And so I was like, that's a really interesting, like for people who write, like just to do that as an exercise. It was just fascinating to work in those parameters. So that's how that film came about. And then after that, I knew I wanted to do a short film about my family story. I knew I wanted to write that feature, but I knew I needed to do a short to show people like, look, this is 15 minutes, 18 minutes of what a feature could be. So I always knew it's going to be that my family story, and my sister, and like, this is what that's going to be. And then after that, I wrote a TV pilot. And my idea was just sort of like, what kind of we haven't seen on TV. I'm just like a Latino family, but I want to see them like kind of upper middle class. Like it doesn't, I want them to have good parents. They always don't need to have one parent. They always don't need to be struggling. Like let's have a good, they're educated. And so like that TV pilot was just for me being like, I don't see, my family kind of on TV. I want to write something that's what my family is. Like my dad was an architect. Like we're educated, like
The Brady Bunch.
Yeah, I was like,
Latinos.
I just wanted to show like what don't I see. So that came out of a necessity of what I feel like I really haven't seen a lot out there. I wanted to show that. And then the new horror film that I just wrote that we're hoping to do next year was based on some true stories, what was happening with migrant women in some towns here in Northern California in the 70s. And I saw something on it and I thought, oh, this is really interesting. And I want to do a take on it and a twist on it and like a horror film and just have like, really cool like Latino horror film that we kind of haven't seen with this kind of social issues and stuff. So it was just the need of when I see something that I haven't seen before, then I try and write it.
So let's hear this. What is your take on the movie La Llorona that just came out?
You know what? I just saw that the other day because I was flying back from Miami, and
Tell the truth.
so I watched it. The thing is, like, I love that the movie exists because 51% of the audience that saw it was a Latino, and I think that's good that we see movies about our culture that we don't see. Everybody knows the story of La Llorona, but it was great that we actually have a movie that we can go out there and see, and people understood the story behind it, and there was like a curandera in it, and like little this stuff like that normally isn't shown and normally isn't shown in horror. So I thought, all of that was interesting to me. It's good that it exists. It's good that we have Latino horrors because we don't really have a lot of stuff like that. So, when you think about it, what else has really been out there?
I liked it. It could have been better. It was killing me. It was killing me. It's like watching On My Block. I was like, are you serious? It was like the On My Block of horror movies. I'll say it. I'm spilling the beans on that. That's the way it was.
You're spilling the
Y'all don't
chisme
like
on
it?
that.
Oh, wow. The frijoles are out on the table right now. La Llorona is the On Your Block of horror stories. Killing.
The number to call in is area code 323-203-0815. If you want to talk to Marcella, if you want to talk to the big dog or myself, or if you have a question for Marcella, again, the lines are open. Area code 323-203-0815. Do you think we need more Latinos out there, more Latino films and directors and producers, do you think?
Yeah, I think it starts with the filmmakers. We need more writers because we need someone creating these stories. So and I think it's important that parents encourage their children to go into the arts because what I found talking to a lot of people is a lot of their parents were like, no, go into a safe job where you have, health insurance and you have retirement, and the arts is, so unsafe, and they want their kids to be stable because their life was so unstable. So a lot of people I talked to, they're like, oh, my parents aren't supportive, or no, they don't understand Hollywood. And I understand, I get that, but it's like, we also need to encourage a lot of them if they want to go in the arts, we need to encourage that. We need more writers, we need more directors, more producers, but we also need more people in the executive level at studios. There aren't very many Latinos at studios that are execs that can green light a project. So it's like you can have these great stories, but you can take them to a studio and there's no one there that gets it. It's not really being greenlit. You need more people, Latinos working at film festivals. When they see those stories, they'll be like, yeah, we're going to put them in the festival. So it's like more agents, more managers. It's across the board because it's really, a difficult industry. And so if you have all of us together helping one another, we can be like, yeah, let me send that agent, that manager, that film festival. We all need to help each other, but there needs to be more of us.
That's in every facet of the world right now.
Yeah.
The Latinos are just underrepresented majorly in every
Yes.
business, and
Oh, yeah.
especially in the film industry, especially in
Oh, yeah.
music and everything like that.
Absolutely. And then being even a woman is even harder. It's like even rarer. Like,
So I was going to
Yeah.
ask you that.
Yeah.
What are some of the challenges you faced as a director, as a filmmaker?
it is, it was definitely like, it was isolating. Like I was telling you, when I was living in Montreal for 6 months, like, the experience was great, but it was also isolating. Like I was just the only like female,
Okay.
like out of all the producers, all the producers' assistants, it was just me. So it's like 6 months of not having like a single female friend that you can just like go get a drink with or just talk about, just nothing for
Let's go, girl.
6 months. And I'm just like, all right, I'll just be one of the guys for 6 months. And I've never experienced that because I always have my friends around or my sister. And so that was really interesting. And working at those levels, it was only working with men producers, men writers, men directors, like at that high level. And even when I was at Sony, the films that we were doing, all the directors and filmmakers, they were usually all men.
Was it a hard time getting your voice heard around that kind of crowd?
No, because I have a loud voice. No.
The squeaky wheel gets the oil.
It wasn't because they loved, my notes, and I was good at my job and I knew what I did. So it wasn't that. It was just like, for me, I just thought like it was weird. The only time I ever had a woman to talk to was the producers' wives would come and visit every now and then. And I'm like, oh, with the wives?
Nailed
It was
it.
just also weird. But like, so that's what I found has been on the big budget level. I never really worked with other
And you
women.
worked behind the scenes? Is that what you
Yeah,
did? You
I
did.
was working at the production company, so I was working for the filmmakers and the producers, and so it was just a really interesting experience. And so now in the indie world, I have found there are more other female filmmakers and writers and directors, and like that's been great of like me meeting other people and having that community because I didn't have that for so long.
Yeah.
Gosh.
That's awesome. 'Cause you need that connection. You know what I mean? You need that connection from the
It's just
from
weird.
from not only just the female aspect, but then also Latinos. And I mean, like,
Oh yeah, it
having
was-
that connection.
Exactly.
Is
I was
major.
super rare because in Montreal, I would be walking down the street and someone would stop me and they're like, "You're so exotic. Are you from Brazil?" I'm like, "I'm from Texas." No. You know what I mean? Like, I got stopped quite a bit. They felt I was very exotic there. I was like,
That's funny.
That is
Okay.
funny.
Like the one time I
Sure.
went to Michigan, they were like, "Are you Samoan?" I was like, "No."
right. People just don't see us.
All right.
I don't know.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So it was an interesting experience.
That's good. You from Brazil? No.
Yeah.
Spain?
Spain?
Yeah.
Portugal? Which
Very
one?
exotic. I'm like, you mean different. I don't look like anyone else here.
Wow. You ever thought of being a
Sure.
casting director?
Right? No.
Casting director for your films or anybody else's films? No?
No, I
No?
never have. Well, I guess I was on my short because I didn't have a casting director. It was really all the actors that I knew or like friends that I knew
We
that
got
had an
two more now
actor.
here.
See, there you go. So I was like, oh, let me just cast this with the people that I know. So that was kind of easy.
Oh,
That's
nice.
cool.
Well, you have a great attitude, and that's what it takes, man. It you have your ups and downs, right?
Oh yeah,
You do. Yeah?
Absolutely.
You
I
had a good
think
cast.
Yeah.
I gotta
you
say
all
that.
you all do like ups and downs. I mean, there are days where I'm like, oh, I'm never gonna make it. I'm just gonna move back. Like I'm just gonna move back and like,
Mom, we're going
yeah.
to San Diego.
Yeah, I have those things where I'll call my mom and I'm just like, oh, this script's never gonna sell. I'll just move back home. And she's
What does your
just-
mom say? What does your dad say?
Oh,
Are they
so-
really encouraging?
Yeah, they're like, don't you dare, you can't come back here. My mom,
Don't you ever come
yeah,
back.
my mom will be like, because her dad, my grandpa, she's like, your grandpa came over here from Mexico during the war, and he had a terrible life, and he picked cotton in the field, and he did all of these things, and you think you have it bad, and you're complaining? Like, no, nothing that you do, like, no matter what you're going through, just because your script didn't sell, you're gonna like wake up tomorrow and keep at it, and you're gonna, stick to it.
So
So
this is what you do full time.
yeah, so
This is legit full time.
there's just like no option. I was like, okay.
You drive down there with your bags all packed and they're like, no,
Right.
no, no.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't need all that stuff.
There's just they
Out.
wouldn't let me, and my dad
Don't need all
too.
that stuff here.
He's an artist, so he's just like, no. He's like, you suffer for your art, and you have to. So
Say, hey, your room is rented. You can't come back.
basically, yeah.
Your room's at gym. What are you doing here? You know
Get
there's a
outta
treadmill
here.
in there. Get out of
Arrows
here.
pa afuera. You said you wanted
Yes.
this filled. Órale, pues, ponle.
Yep, that's basically it.
Well, that's
So,
good though. They
I
got
have
to
no
be
choice.
motivated. They got to keep you pushing.
Oh yeah, no, they do, because I think every artist has their ups and downs of like, will you be successful? Will this sell? Will this not? And then there are good days where I'm like, oh yeah, I just sold something great, but you have those like, will I sell something else? Like, but you just have to keep pushing, because the people that give up, you're not even gonna give yourself a chance.
Now, when you sell something, do you price it, or do you ask for an asking price, or how does that work?
So it works differently with every script or every project. So you can just outright sell a script to a production company or studio, and they can buy it outright, and you kind of really have nothing to do with it. You can sell something where, like right now, I'm selling my horror where I'm attached to co-direct and I'm attached to produce it. So it's like a package. So they have to buy, then the rights for the script, and then find someone like financing for the rest of the money. So it's like, it varies on
But it
what
comes with
your role is.
the agreement that you're going to direct it.
Yes, this new one. But most of the time, if you're just selling something as a writer, it's just you're just selling it.
So if you're the writer of the story, is that story yours, or is it once you sell it, it's no longer yours?
Right, you sign over your rights
sign
to
over your
whoever
rights.
buys it.
Oh, okay,
Yes,
okay,
exactly.
okay.
Whoever or they can option it for 1 to 2 years, and if they don't get it produced in that time and raise the fund, then you get the rights back.
Now, do you price your films, or do they just give you a quote, or
Oh, as far as like the budget of
the
it?
budget of it?
Yeah, so I generally will know how much the budget is of what I'm trying to do. Like I'm staying under like 5 million on something, or under 3 million. Like right now they're all under, because it's easier right now to make a smaller indie like that. Like if I was trying to do a $20 million film, no one's giving me that money right now. But eventually, like obviously
You want to get,
I want to get there,
You
but I
wanna get
need to
there.
do a couple of these small little ones to
Sure,
get there.
sure.
So all of them are going to be,
it's like real estate. You got to buy a little house, boom, get a
Exactly.
hotel.
Exactly. So yeah, all of them are going to be small budget, and by doing that is page count. You don't want to go over like 100 pages. You don't want to have tons of visual effects. You don't want to have tons of
'Cause that's extra
location,
money,
tons
right?
of
That's
cast.
in your
So
budget, right?
exactly. So when I'm writing all of that, it's you consider that when you're writing. Like you want to have small locations, small cast, and keep the
Production
budget
value.
down. Yeah.
Holy most, you gotta have all those things into consideration, of
Yes.
course, in your budget and your financing and all that.
So it's like you still want a good story, but you want to have all of these things so you can get the financing to just keep your budget down. So yeah, so I'm definitely think about that when I write. Like I'm not writing some giant, huge visual effects scene in something, like not yet.
Are you excited
Not yet.
for where your company's going
Not
and,
yet.
Yeah,
and
not
where
yet.
you're headed and what's going on with
I
it? Yeah,
am excited. I'm really excited for the momentum since HBO.
Mm-hmm.
It's been incredible, and I'm excited that I hope that I can get the feature made of that.
man,
Texas.
that's awesome. That is
Yeah,
awesome. Get
yeah.
your foot in the door and your
Yep.
film into the door with HBO, and I mean, you can't go around there.
Exactly.
You can't go around.
I was like Game of Thrones. So yeah, no, I'm excited.
A Latino Game of Thrones.
Latino Game of Thrones. Wow.
That'd be dope.
So can we ask you some questions really quick?
Yes.
All right.
Sure.
What is your favorite food?
Oh, enchiladas.
Enchiladas.
But enchiladas from Texas.
Okay,
Red or green though.
But no,
Doña Maria
Red
Mole?
or
no,
green?
no, red.
Red.
Because in Texas they also have red tortillas, and then they put chili gravy on top of it, and that's the best enchilada in the world.
Chili?
Your favorite ice cream.
Chili gravy.
Ooh, cookies and cream.
Cookies and cream.
Yeah, I actually got
That's
some
like
today.
every woman's
to celebrate
favorite.
after this. I have my cookies and cream waiting for me.
Did you go to Rite Aid, Rifties to get your little scoops?
No, there's like a Ralph's across the
I
street
don't
from
even have
me.
thrifties anymore. Where are you going to shopping?
There's a Rite Aid.
Where is that?
There's a Thrifties Rite Aid in Fontana in the corner. It says this Thrifty/Rite Aid.
Oh, right.
When I want a black cherry ice cream from there, because the Thrifty's black cherry ice cream was the bomb.
Oh gosh. If you had to travel the world, what would be your favorite place to travel and go?
That I haven't been?
That you haven't been?
Oh,
But you haven't been.
yeah.
Haven't.
Yeah, because places that I always wanted to go my whole life were like Rome and Barcelona, and I went there.
Thanks, Sony.
Yeah, for
Thanks,
Sony.
Sony, for
Thank you, Sony.
We're taking it everywhere and
Exactly.
giving our answer away
So
already.
let's see. No, where that I haven't been. I think I'd want to go to Fiji.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
nice.
Nice.
You go to Whataburger. What's your order?
Ooh, I love Whataburger.
There we go. What's your order?
I get the hamburger. So whatever like the hamburger is, I don't remember like what number it is, but I just do like the hamburger and fries. Nothing special. But I just love the hamburger.
Favorite restaurant you go to?
Ooh,
Favorite restaurant
here or
anywhere? Well, Texas too, if you want.
Okay, I'm gonna do Texas because my favorite restaurant is called Mi Tierra.
Mi tierra.
Yeah,
Where they
where's
sell
that in San
all
Antonio?
authentic Mexican food.
Yeah,
Are they-
it's
yeah?
the best.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they have like this whole panaderia in there, and like it's just we go crazy.
Ooh,
Well,
your-
that's already sold.
your favorite pan
Panaderia.
dulce? What is it? Your
Exactly.
conchitas.
Ooh,
Las conchitas.
Let's see what my favorite is. I think my favorite is a chocolate.
You like champurrado?
Yeah, I don't know. I
No,
let me
what?
think. I love everything, so it's really really difficult to
I
say.
like the little corn ones.
I
I think a
Los
chocolate
Besos.
concha. I think that's my favorite.
chocolate concha?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think so. Yeah,
yeah.
but I eat
Classic.
anything basically.
Classic.
But yeah, I'll get like 10 of those.
Okay, favorite restaurant in LA.
Favorite restaurant in LA. I don't know if I have one, but I love the tacos at Frida's. I go there a lot when I just want like a yummy taco. I like Frida's.
Is it hard or soft taco?
Soft.
Okay.
Mhm.
Nice, nice,
Yeah.
nice.
Okay, then, but you've been to Manuel's already?
To where?
Manuel's Al Tapayac?
No.
We gotta go. We gotta take you there.
Wait,
That's
where's
the
that?
most famous place here in LA for Latino food.
Yeah.
Where is it?
They're
In
op-
Boyle Heights?
They're opening up a third one
Boyle
now.
Heights. Woo, woo. That's
Oh, I
right,
haven't
baby.
been.
The other one's gonna be in Brea. the
Boyle
other
Heights
one-
is like the mecca of Latinos in LA. Gotta say
Every,
Yes, that's
everybody's been
Not
there.
East LA, even though I love
Everybody's
East
been
LA.
there.
Right.
Boyle Heights.
And it's right across the street from a Catholic church, actually. It's right,
Oh
right
my
there.
goodness.
Yeah, it's right across the street.
And right,
So-
right across the street from Cedos, too, if you want
Yeah,
taquitos.
exactly. It's
Ooh, well,
really
now
cool
I'm
there.
starving.
We're gonna take you there one day.
I know. Now I'm hungry.
We gotta take you in there. You'll love the burritos. Are
Oh.
well, they're really cool. As a matter of fact, Elena is gonna be one of my. She, the owner, CEO. She is going to be on my guest here.
Oh, yeah.
Is
Yeah,
she should
yeah.
bring food when she comes.
She's like, I'm right there.
Yeah, and then
there.
I'm like,
Right
I'll
there.
be.
She keeps reminding me.
5
and
minutes
stuff,
away.
Because it's funny because I'm related to her niece, who I work with,
Oh, how
and I know
funny.
her daughter too, who I actually work with too. So her niece like Dory. Dory's like, so we have a connection there. So she's
that's
she's asking
wonderful.
me, hey, when are we gonna come
Yeah.
on? And because I told her I want you on.
Yeah, yeah.
And as a matter of fact, we hit her up a couple of years ago. A friend of mine, a producer, to do her dad's story for Tepeyac.
Yeah.
She would not budge. She would not budge at all. She wasn't sure she wanted to tell the whole story. She wasn't sure she wanted to do this. So I came back to her. I went
Yeah.
back to her place, and she says, that money is a lot of money. It's
Mm.
quite a bit. And that's why she didn't do it. But I think now, if I get her on here, I think she would do it. And if she does, I'm gonna mention your name, so you get this cool story from her dad, Manuel, how they started. Oh, man, he used to kiss all the customers, all the lady customers,
Lady customers.
lady customers, before they went into the restaurant to have their dinner there.
Oh,
That was his trademark.
That was his-
trade.
And give you a shot of tequila.
Oh, well, that's
yes.
wonderful.
Yeah, you'll love
right,
that
you're
place.
like,
You'll
yeah,
love the food.
yeah.
Oh, it's just great. I mean,
Oh,
it's
that's
packed. I mean,
awesome.
that place is always
Oh my
packed.
goodness. I
Yes.
need to go.
It's a tiny place. But it's
Yeah.
like maybe this studio and that studio put together where you
Really?
can sit down
Oh my goodness.
It's an
and have
icon
like a little
place.
small outside seating, but the food is great.
Oh, the food is great. The ambiance. Oh man.
Oh well, now I need to go.
You go. Yeah. Look it
Authentic.
up. Look it
Yeah.
up. Maria Rojas. That's her name, the owner.
Oh, wow.
And she's opening up another one in Brea. And then she has another one in City of Industry. That's number
Opening one in
2.
Brea?
Yeah, she's opening up another in Brea.
Really?
Yes.
Oh,
Another
wow.
one in Brea. So
Okay.
it's 3. The number 2, her
Nice.
brother has. She stayed with the original, and then she's opening up another one in Brea. So
Okay.
good for her.
That's
I mean, she's worked
amazing.
really hard.
That's
She's a
wonderful.
hardworking
Yeah.
Latina, and
I love
she
it.
is a very hardworking lady. I mean,
That's amazing.
so yeah, we went to go see her a few years ago, but hopefully this time around she'll say yes, and maybe we can do.
Yes.
And so, and if we do, I'll
Yes.
let you know. I'll let
Absolutely.
you
Yes.
know.
Let me know.
Yes. Where can our audience find you, Marcela?
Let's see. On social media, I'm on Instagram and Facebook. Just my name, Marcela Ochoa. Marcela with 2 L's, not 1. My mom wanted to be all clever. So yeah, and then I have a website with just my name too. And yeah, basically.
Ocho A.
Yeah, Ocho A.
A.
Nice. I love
8A.
that.
Yeah.
I love that. in these last few minutes that we have, I told you that once we get the plane going, it's just like nonstop, right?
Yeah.
And you have been a real blessing to us.
Oh,
You shared your
thank
story,
you.
your heart, and your enthusiasm for what you're doing. And congratulations and all the many blessings that are coming your way for
Thank
with your company.
you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Definitely.
Gracias.
Thank you.
Yes. Yes.
Where can we find the horror film that you did?
Oh, it's on.
I'm sorry, I like scary movies, so I was like,
Okay.
where is that?
It's on iTunes, on demand, Amazon. So
Okay. What's it called
anywhere.
again?
Discarnate.
Discarnate.
What about
Yes.
Maria de
I'm gonna look
Jesus?
it
Is it out yet?
Yeah, so on HBO on demand, it's called My Name is Maria de Jesus, and it's available for the next 2 years. So it's HBO on demand, HBO Go, HBO Now. Check it out.
So every time
And
they
if you
show,
haven't, check out the preview. It's on YouTube.
Yes.
Check it
It
out.
is.
Yes.
The trailer.
Yes.
The
So you
trailer.
get paid every
Exactly.
time they show it?
No,
No, you don't.
no.
No?
Oh my goodness. no.
Nothing?
I wish.
Nada?
I wish.
You're like, no.
No. ¿Por qué?
No, they just acquire it, they buy it, and then they just stream
Oh, they just do
it.
it. Oh, okay.
Mhm.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
but still, no, it's exciting.
So what do you think when you watch it, when you see it, when you see it?
It's so crazy. It's so surreal. We watched it, had a little watch party at my family's house when it came out with my nephews
great-
and everybody, and
It's
it was
great.
just,
It's great.
it's just so surreal, like
It is.
to see like on HBO and then your short and
That
then
whole
your
little
name.
sh-
Yeah,
it
exactly.
comes
The
right-
little like
HBO. Yeah.
Exactly.
HBO, and I was just like, like,
awesome.
it was yeah. So my nephews, they have it DVR'd, so they'll watch it all the time. Like we'll be walking in the house and they're watching it. It's surreal, actually.
Wow. In these
Yeah.
last
Awesome.
minutes that we have, Marcela, gosh, can you let one of our listeners in, it's something about from your heart. If somebody's out there trying to
Some
get
final
into
words of
film,
inspiration for them.
inspiration of love, of hope that they're giving up on their dreams, what would you tell them?
Oh, that's a good question. You know, because I've been there. I felt that. I've wanted to give up a bunch of times. And I would just say you have to keep going and you have to have people around you that'll encourage you. I think having a support system is really, really important because even if you're not in this industry, any job that you want to give up on or you want to
Correct.
quit, it's really, really, really hard to do things, just to go at it on your own and feel those like moments of like, I am going to give up. But when you have like this strong friends or this family that are encouraging you and you know your worth and you can keep going and you can do it. And I think you have to really strongly believe in yourself and take those chances because when you give up, you're never even going to be able to try and accomplish your goals. Because I think we have all had those. We've all had those dreams. We all have those moments where we want to give up and it is a really difficult industry or it's a difficult world. And especially with what's going on right now, like sometimes I'm like, what am I doing? What am I writing? It's not going to make a difference. Like, look what's wrong with this country. Like I just feel like, what am I doing? Especially what just happened in my home state. Like,
Yeah.
you just feel those moments of really horrible, nothing I'm doing is going to make a difference. But then it's like, no, I'm not going to think that way. I am going to make a difference. I am going to keep going because you owe it to yourself and you owe it to our community. And like when one person rises, we all rise.
Yeah.
So I think, you just have to like keep going. And it's important to like believe in yourself and have that support system around you.
That's
Exactly.
nice.
Thank you.
Bubba?
Thank you for those words.
Yeah, thank you so much. Those
You're
are cool.
welcome.
As
Bubba?
usual, I gotta tell you guys, just like I tell the players, keep your head on a swivel, keep your feet moving, never stop,
Yes.
never stop.
So on behalf of the Chizme Talk Show and your Bubba here and myself, we want to
The big dog.
thank you, the big dog. We want to thank you for blessing us. We want to thank you for
Thank
your
you again.
inspirational story and how
You're
you began and
welcome.
how you're going somewhere. So we can see the talent and the gifts and your attitude is great.
Thank you.
So again, I am very delighted that Marcela blessed us with so much tonight. And next week, again, we're gonna do it over again. So like I always
Amazing
say,
guests,
yeah,
amazing guests. We have amazing guests. They make the show. Thank
They
you
do.
very much.
They do,
Aw,
and thank
thank
you.
you. I
Yes,
really
you do.
appreciate
it. Really
Their
do.
heart, their inspirational stories, and their
Not
gifts.
us. It's not us.
Not
No,
us at
but
all.
it's like thank you for having the show as an outlet for people to come and talk. Like this is
Exactly.
also incredible what
That's
you
right.
guys are doing.
That's absolutely correct. So I am your handsome Latino from LA Talk Radio, from the Chizme Show, the Big Dog Morales, Marcela
Not
Ochoa.
Rachel only. Not
Nope,
Rachel only.
Nope. And as I always say, never put an inspiration date on your dreams. Until next time, may God bless you. May your dreams come true, just like they are for this young lady here, Marcela. You're going to be hearing more about her in the coming years, I guarantee you. So until next time, good night and have a blessed evening. Hasta luego. Bye-bye.
Good night.
You're listening to the Chizme Talk Show with Jesse, Handsome Latino, Bubba, the Big Dog Morales, and Raquel, only on LA Talk Radio.